Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After last week's misadventures with the Plum Island Horror, we're going to head back to a familiar setting, as the World War II Atlantic will be the setting for game number 2 on my Tac Up Wargaming list. As you can probably hear, my voice is still very much compromised, but it's not bad enough to make me reschedule today's video, unlike the heat pedal to the metal video that we were supposed to have on Wednesday. It's definitely improved from the unboxing video I did instead on Wednesday, but enough of the ramble about my voice. Today we're going to play the Hunters from GMT Games or Consim Press. This game drops you into a sub in the World War II Atlantic Ocean, building up your narrative. Freshly promoted Frigaten-Kapitan Zimmer has been enjoying some R&R from his last tour back in December, but now we're ready to recall him and send him back out on active duty. With that, let's take a look at his current career. As you can see, Zimmer has had quite the career on the channel as we've been sending him out. He's gone out on 15 patrols so far since the war started back in September 1939. We've sunk a total of 30 ships over the course of those patrols, for a grand total of 214,800 tons of Allied shipping. Pretty safe to say that if there was a skipper like that in the ocean, and I'm sure there was, Winston Churchill would have long since put a bounty out on... Actually, that total right now, I'm just looking at some of these historic skippers. The total amount of shipping right now is good for second overall. That's actually good for third place overall among the top 10 German U-boat commandants. Second, we've only got Wolfgang Luth, who had 46 ships sunk and 225,204 tons of shipping, and Otto Kretschmer, who had 16 patrols, 46 ships sunk, with a total of 273,043 tons of Allied shipping. So we're definitely ranking up there. And yes, Churchill would probably have long put a bounty out on us by now. But enough of the ramble of that. Let's move over to the main game area. The crew in the motor pool is giving, or not the motor pool, the maintenance crew is giving this U-boat its final check. They're giving it the all clear, so let's bring the dice tower in shot, and we'll get ready to go out on our first patrol. It's now October 1942, so let's see where we're being sent this time. That's a 4, so we're being sent out into the Atlantic, but this time we're traveling in a wolf pack. Make my notes in my logs. This is our first time hunting in a wolf pack in this career, so we'll get to see how a wolf pack patrol works. I'll get that all set. Okay, we're engaging a convoy. Okay, so that's for the status of the escorts. Let me make sure I've got the wolf pack chit out that I'll need for that. So we're all set there. I'll flip that chart over to the encounters. Then we'll move into the Atlantic, where we'll have Bay of Biscay 1. I'm going to bring the logbook. I'll put the logbook over here, I think. So Bay of Biscay 1. I'll deal with the log sheet when that comes up. So first we got the Bay of Biscay 1. Here we want a nice high roll so we don't have anything going on. That's a 6, that'll do. Nothing there. Now for our first transit box. Here we want anything but a 2, 3, or... a 2 or a 3. A 12 would be a random event, at least. That's a 10. That was almost something. So now we're in the Atlantic 1. All right, an 8 in the Atlantic is also nothing. Now we have Atlantic 2. That's a 9. Ooh, we've got a convoy. All right, where's our ship? Okay, here we go. So we're going to roll all 4 dice for ships first. We'll see what we've got. All right, so we've got 2 small freighters, a large freighter, and a tanker. All right, now we need the D100. We're going to roll for the small freighter first. We'll use our 2 D10s. Black is our 10s, white is our 1s. I'll bring the log sheet over so I can use the ship sizes to determine, as a starting point, to determine if we've sunk something before. Alright, so that's a 6, which means our first freighter is the 4,900-ton Furby. We might have encountered that back in November 1941. Either that was a different ship. Let's see, that was a small freighter. Thurlby. Maybe that was the Furby and I just didn't write it out properly. Is there another small freighter at 4,900? Yep, there is. Okay, never mind. We can encounter that one. $4,900 tons for that. Let's see what our second small freighter is. The 5,000-ton Winkley. Looks like we've had a couple of encounters with 5,000 tons back in August 1940. No. October 1940. Was that one? How about December? One in August 1941. We had a lot of stuff that we encountered. Okay, nope. Looks like we're all clear there, so we can encounter that one as well. All right, now for our large freighter. '72. The 10,000-ton Jagersfontein, which looks like we've had a couple of encounters, some 10,000-ton ships. We have encountered the Jagersfontein, so we can't encounter that one again. That was the second ship that we ever sunk. So that's at the bottom of the British Isles. That is a 69. The 3,500-ton Denmark, which we haven't encountered yet. And our tanker. Tanker 4, the 8,800-ton Cheyenne, which June 1940 has an 8,800-ton. Okay. Looks like that's the only one, so we can encounter the Cheyenne. That was 8,800. Definitely got some good prizes here, so I can move that out of the way. Now that we've determined the convoy encounter, on a Wolfpack operation, we do have to roll as well. So on a 1 to 5, the escort's busy. That's a 3, so the escort's busy. All right, which means we'll have a -1 to detection roll, I believe. Yes. Making a -1 die roll modifier when checking for escort detection. Okay. Now that we've got that figured out, I think we are going to attack this convoy, so we need the combat mat in shot. First thing we need to do is roll for the time of day. Is it day or night? The one says it's day. Now this is a pretty decent group of ships, so I think we are still going to attack. We are going to have to attack submerged. Nope, we're not going to wait until night. So we are going to attack. So it's day. Let me get the marks out. 2 freighter, 2 smalls, a large, and a tanker. Okay, so how do I want to attack this? I don't really care about the large freighter, and the tanker's probably going to take too much effort to get. So I think we're going to put two torpedoes each at the small freighters. 2 forward torpedoes. We'll do that. Okay, since we are attacking from medium range, we're going to have a +1 modifier on that with the electric torpedoes. So let's fire on the Furby first. So fire 1. As usual, we'll use 2d6 for that. We'll use 3d6 for this. 2d6 for the actual attack roll, and then the black die to check for dud. We only dud on a 1. We need a 7 or less to hit, and we're rolling on. Looks like it's just a straight roll. We had a -1 for holding the Knight's Cross and Oak Leaves, but a +1 because we're using electric torpedoes at medium range. So it's just a straight roll. That's a true hit. That'll be a hit on the Furby. Fire 2. That one's a dud. That's unfortunate. So now fire 1 on the Winkley. That's a miss. And fire 2 on the Winkley. That's a miss, and that would have been a dud anyway. So we only have the 1 hit on the Furby, which means now we roll for damage. We want a 3 or lower to sink this thing in 1 shot. That's a 3, so 2 damage will sink the Winkley. Actually, no, that was the Furby that we sunk. So we got the Furby. Nothing else got hit, so now we have to roll to try to avoid detection. Unfortunately, we are rolling, well, we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to exceed test depth to try to get away, to try to escape detection. So we're going to be rolling 2d6 for that, which means we'll be rolling at, I believe this is just going to be a straight roll. +2 for 1942. So yeah, straight roll, because the escort's busy, so that gives us a -1 on -1 on the convoy, and then we're exceeding test depth. So yeah, straight roll, and we want an 8 or less. That's a 5, so we escape. We escape, and with nothing else damaged, the encounter's over at that point, so we can bring the combat mat out of shot. I've already taken the liberty of moving our ship to Atlantic Box 3. We'll see what happens here. A 5 is nothing. Moving into Atlantic 4. 5 is also nothing. Last box in the Atlantic. 9 is another convoy. Let's see what we have this time. This time we have 3 small freighters and a large freighter. Let's see what kind of ships, let's see what ships we've got this time. Got some decent sized small freighters, but if too many of these are too small, we're probably going to give them a pass. So our first small freighter, 54, is the 3,200 ton Hatasu. Let's see if I've encountered anything, if I've sunk anything at 3,200 tons. I have not, which means I can encounter that one. Let's see what our next small freighter is. $33 is the 2,000-ton Daphne. I don't think I've sunk anything smaller than 30. It looks like 3,300 tons is the smallest ship I've sunk. So what did we say? 33. The Daphne at 2,000 tons. We might actually give this one a pass, because I don't think this is a big enough prize. These are big enough prizes so far worth exposing ourselves. 56, the 4,900 ton Ashby, but I'm pretty sure. Do we have other 4,900 tons other than what we just sunk? We had November 41. Nope. We can encounter the Ashby. And our large freighter. $42 is, the 10,600 ton Zealandic. Okay, that changes things a little bit. Let's see what's happening with the convoy this time. The convoy once again is busy. Or the escort's busy. Okay, well, that changes things a little bit. So I think we are actually going to attack this one. So once again, we need the combat mat right back in shot. Alright, just double checking, making sure, yep, I can encounter the Zealandic. So let's see what the time of day is. It's night this time. Okay, So it is night, which means we're all set there. We've determined the ship sizes already. We're going to attack, so it's night. So we know the escort's busy, it's night. We're still going to attack from medium range. Do I want to attack? No, I'm not going to attack surface. I'm going to attack submerged. As tempting as it would be to get the accuracy from a night surface attack, doing that is probably going to be a very stupid idea because that leaves me more open to detection, and I wouldn't even be able to exceed test depth on the first shot at it. So we're going to attack submerged. Now we're going to attack from medium range once again. So we're going to go for the forward tubes again. We're going to fire one at the Ashby and aim the other 3 forward torpedoes at the Zealandic. So we'll do it that way. All right, now that we're all set there, we're not surfaced, so now let's attack. Fire 1 on the Ashby. We want a 7 or less once again, and I'm just going to double check this, but we are looking at a straight roll, since these are electric torpedoes. That'll be a hit. That's a hit on the Ashby. Fire 1 on the Zealandic. Is a dud, which is unfortunate, because that's the prize I really want. Fire 2 on the Zealandic. That's a miss. And fire 3 on the Zealandic. Also a miss. So the only ship we hit is the only ship we managed to hit there is the Ashby. So once again, we need at least 2 damage to sink it in one shot. Which we managed to get with a 1. That'll be good for 4 damage. So we'll sink the Ashby. Which is another 4,900 tons. But once again, we need to see if we can escape escort detection. We will once again roll for hull. We will once again exceed test depth. Now, I believe it has to be less than, so I'm not going to roll for seeing if my sub survives exceeding test depth yet. Because I can't roll less than a 2 on 2 dice. So we are going to roll for escort detection, which I believe, I'm just going to double check that, but that should be just another straight roll, right? We didn't go for the night surface attack, +2, 1942. Wolfpack attack on convoy, the escort was busy, so -1, and -1 for exceeding test depth. Yep, another straight roll, and we want this to be 8 or less. Alright, just making some notes. That's a 7, so we barely escape. And encounter over at that point. So we can bring the combat mat right back out of shot. Now we're into transit 2. Hopefully for a nice quiet roll here. So we'll find out. Once again, 2 or 3. Otherwise, once again, no 2 or 3. So of course we get a 3, which means we have an aircraft attacking us. So we have to roll for... So now with an air attack, I believe it's this chart right here. Right? Yes. So roll on... Wait. Looks like it's roll on A1. Okay, here we go. Alright, so we want we prefer a 6 or more. Let's see what happens here. And we're on a -1. Actually, we're on a -1 because it's 1942. Actually, -2 because it's 1942 and we're in a Type 9 U-boat. So we need a 6 or more. That's a 9, which modifies down to a 7, so we crash dive. No air attack. Which means now we have the Bay of Biscay. Here we don't want a 2, 3, or 4. That's a 6. That'll work. Actually, that modifies down to a 5. I didn't see modifiers for 1942, so still nothing. Which means we got 2 more ships sunk for 9,800 more tons of Allied shipping. So that was another successful patrol. I don't think there's anything special coming out of patrol there. Oh, I forgot to roll for choice of patrol, which that would be a roll of a 1 to 3. Okay, so now that I'm remembering that, I don't think we're eligible for a promotion of it. We're definitely not eligible for promotion, but we don't get the oak leaves and swords yet because we're still, let's see, we were at 214 coming in. 9,800 is only going to bring you up to 223. So we're not eligible for the oak leaves and swords yet. I think 75,000 tons of ships after having received the oak leaves. I'm trying to remember when we received the oak leaves. Let me see if I've got that in my notes here. No, I don't think I do. Because noting that would have been a smart thing to do, but apparently I wasn't thinking that far ahead at the time. Anywho, we're going to go ahead and get we'll have our month of refit through November 1942, and then when we come back, it'll be December 1942. Now that I'm paying attention, I'll actually remember that on a 1 to 3, a Frigaten-Kapitan gets to choose his own patrol. I will get to choose my own patrol, and I think this time I want to go out to the British Isles. We'll go taunt Churchill a little bit, since he's like I said, since he's likely put a bounty out on our heads by now. So we'll go to the British Isles. We'll start off with our first Bay of Biscay roll. No 2, 3, or 4, and I have to remember to modify this down by 1. That's a 6 modified to a 5, so nothing happening there. Now for Transit 1, I would like this to not be a 2 or a 3. Which doesn't get modified down. That's a 4, so we just barely miss it, but nothing there. Now we're into the British Isles 1. 4 is nothing. British Isles 2. Snake Eyes. Oh boy, that's a capital ship. There should be a roster for capital ships. Yeah, that's a North America. Actually, it might only be then one roster. So let's see what we encounter for a capital ship. I don't think we've had a capital ship that we've sunk yet. Let's see what we get for this one. That says 10. That's the 11,000-ton CVE Audacity. All right, capital ships, I believe. Oh, it does come with an escort, so we do need to be careful of that. Because of course it does, but we are going to attack this, so we'll bring the combat mat right back in shot. Let's see what time of day we're looking at. The 3 says it's day, but we're going to attack. So we will have to attack submerged, obviously, since it is day. We will have to attack submerged. We are going to attack from medium range. And I'm going to throw everything at this. So I've got my forward I'm going to throw all 4 forward torpedoes at it. And these are all steam torpedoes, so I don't have the +1 modifier that I do on the electrics. So, I think we're all set. Since we're attacking from medium range, we don't have to worry about any kind of escort detection right off the bat. So, yep, let's fire 1. We need a 7 or less, and we're rolling this at a net. Holds Knights crossing oak leaves, which we do. We're rolling this at a net -1. That's a hit. Fire 2. That's also a hit. Fire 3. That one's a dud. And fire 4. That's a hit. So we've got 3 hits in there. We'll roll a different colored die for each torpedo. We need 5 damage to sink this. So we want a lot of low rolls. So, of course, we get 3 5s, which is good for 3 damage. Unfortunately, capital ships need 5 damage to be sunk. So now that we're as far there as we can be, now we have to try to escape detection. So, 3 hits. We're going to exceed test depth on this one, because of course we are. Which means we're looking at a +2. We're looking at a net +1 because we are exceeding test depth. Six plus 1 is 7, means we escape. Alright, so since we escape, we're going to follow, but I'm going to reload the torpedoes. We're going to put another load of steams in. Alright, so since we weren't detected, we're reloading. Yes, we are going to follow. Ship is damaged, stays escorted, and keeps its escort quality. So we're not going to worry about that. We are starting a new round of combat, which loops us back to... Alright, so this time we're going to follow into night. We're going to follow them into night this time. We're still going to attack submerged, though, so I have the option of exceeding test depth if I need to. Alright, so we're following tonight, which means we are still going to attack from medium range and... Hold on. We have to roll for... or reload and start a new round of combat. So I don't think we roll again for an additional round of combat. We might actually. No, it doesn't look like we roll for that, actually. So, now that we've reloaded, we're going to run back the same attack we did before. We're just going to let loose with the another battery of torpedoes. Fire one. Eight minus 1 is 7. Actually, that modified... Yes, that modified down to a 7, so that one's a hit. Fire 2. If we get another hit, we're sinking the Audacity. Seven modifies down to a 6, so it's going to be sunk. Fire 3. That'll modify down to a 5, so that'll be another hit. And fire 4. Ten modifies down to a 9, so that one won't be a hit. But we get to roll for 3 hits. This one is... The Audacity is definitely getting sunk. Alright, 2, 5, 4. That's 3, 4. That's 5 more damage, so the Audacity is sunk. So we got that one. That was 11,000 tons. Surprisingly, that's only good for... Actually, wait a second. British Isles in December 1940. Oh, we actually already sunk the Audacity. So, hold on. Okay, so back all of that up. I did not realize we'd already sunk the Audacity. So we're actually going to roll for a different ship that we encountered. Yeah, we're going to roll for a different ship that we encountered. We did everything to sink that. I did not realize we'd sunk the Audacity. So we're just going to roll and we're going to say it's a different ship that we sunk. A 1 is the 22,000 ton Ark Royal, which will rank as the biggest ship we've sunk. So we're going to pretend we did all of that against the Ark Royal. We sunk it, but now we need to see if we can escape again. So we're going to exceed test depth once again, and we're netting a +1 on the roll. Actually, it's a capital ship, so we're netting +2 on the escort detection roll. Ten plus 2 is a 12. Oh boy, we're detected and a +1 attack modifier. Yikes. Alright, so this means our first attack. This is not good. So for the escort attack, we have a +1 modifier on that, so we're rolling. We have a +1 modifier. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That's 12, which modifies up to a 13, which means our U-boat's sunk. So the Ark Royal basically cost us our life. Basically cost us his ship. So U-225 gets sunk in the British Isles. Which means our career is now over at this point. So we came into today's session with 214,800 tons. Let me get the calculator out here. So we're going to finish. Came in with 221 or 214 plus 9,800 plus 22,000. So we're going to finish at with, how many ships was that? 16, 17 patrols. Seventeen patrols, 33 ships. And a grand total of 246,000 tons of Allied shipping. So that actually is not a bad set of stats at all, including 2 capital ships that we ended up sinking. But that will do it for this background career of the Hunters. I will have a moment of silence for Frigaten-Kapitan Zimmer. He had a great career. You got to give him credit for that. And that wraps up this playthrough of the Hunters for game number 2 on my Tac Up Wargaming list. Back to normal hopefully this week as I continue to work on getting over this cold. Later today we'll be having the end of March recap. As for the other scheduled videos, Wednesday we're going back to Lucidity, Six-Sided Nightmares. Saturday we're starting our new cookbook on Mystical Munchies. And next week we're going to be starting the spring campaign for Arkham Horror, the card game, but I'll have more on that during the end of March recap and a campaign intro video that I'm expecting to shoot later this week. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.